Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. And I was working on a project with a friend the other day, and I had a while ago given him some of my older Craftsman, or older, Snap-on screwdrivers. I seem to have more than I need. And he had a couple of junky ones, and when we were working on something, I thought, just get rid of those and I'll give you some new ones, or I'll give you some of my Snap-ons that have new blades in them. They're not new screwdrivers. I'm not that generous. Anyway, I was helping him the other day, and we needed a screwdriver, and he went and he got one of his old junky ones again. And I thought, I gave you some good ones. Why aren't you using them? And he admitted basically that he thought they were too nice to use. So he actually has some nice Snap-on screwdrivers, and he's got some junky stuff, and he uses the junky stuff because he said that the Snap-on just seemed too nice. He didn't want to ruin it. And I guess I have a confession to make. I've got a handful now, growing collection of PB Swiss tools, and in most cases, if I'm just doing routine stuff, I tend to grab my Snap-on. Why? Because the PB Swiss are just too nice. I don't want to ruin them. Although I have gotten them pretty dirty. They get dirty pretty fast. But I thought I can kind of relate to that. Maybe at a little bit different level. This is kind of some similarities between Snap-on and PB Swiss that I was looking at in my tool drawer. But the prices are not terribly different. In fact, this Snap-on hammer cost more than this PB Swiss. This Snap-on ratcheting handled or bit driver, you can interchange the bits on it, is about the same price as this PB Swiss ratcheting bit driver. The screwdrivers, actually PB Swiss, depends on the screwdriver, might be the same, might be more, might be less. So they're very similar in price. Snap-on doesn't make one of these that I can find that seems to have just a super basic ratcheting bit driving handle. But this wasn't all that much money either. If Snap-on made one, I assume it'd be similar. This was a little bit outrageous to get something, a little bit driver or bit holder. But I think this is even more outrageous to be able to spend upwards of, I can't remember what this is close to now, $70 or something like that for a ratcheting stubby interchangeable shaft. I mean, this thing it's my favorite screwdriver. So they're both expensive. And the other thing is that I haven't heard a lot of people complain about the price of PB Swiss being outrageous, where I hear that a lot with Snap-on, where people look at the brand name and saying, this is like, a $20 screwdriver, and they put their name on it and charge $1,000. People like to inflate the prices of Snap-on. Some of the videos I watch, people just seem to add another $100 to the price every year. I do watch the Snap-on prices go up. They incrementally go up. 1-2% a year, sometimes more. But anyway, I find that the Snap-on seems to just get a lot more people upset about the high price, but I haven't heard anyone complaining about PB Swiss except, wow, they're amazing, they're nice, they're so expensive, I can't afford them, I wish I could, rather than, I hate this stupid company because it's overcharging and they don't have good products and, etc. And that might be true. PB Swiss has a limited set of products. Snap-on seems to take a stab at about everything under the sun, and some things they fail. Some things are winners. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting that people have tools they don't want to use because they're too valuable. And this is different than collectible tools. I was watching Power Stroke Jude's channel, great channel, and he was showing us his 100th anniversary Snap-on tools. I don't own any 100th anniversary, and if I did, they'd be just as probably dirty and as chipped up as my other tools. Because I'd want to use them. I do have some what I consider kind of more collectible, almost historic or vintage or heirloom tools. But otherwise, I really like to use stuff. In fact, that's why I like the nicer stuff. Now, stamping a 100-year anniversary on a snap-on screwdriver or on a snap-on hammer or the wrenches doesn't necessarily make it perform any better, but it also might keep you from actually using it. So if you had a Craftsman and a snap-on, you might actually grab the Craftsman because you don't want to ruin your snap-on, because it's got some other value besides just being a tool. Anyway, if you've got experiences like this, I'd love to hear about them. I'm trying desperately to use things a little bit more, the nicer stuff, really go after it, and not worry. But I do understand it, that if there's a chance you might drop the tool or, use it a little hard, people like myself might migrate to something else. But in reality, I do think it's important to enjoy the tool use as much as possible, which includes seeing how far these things will go, and heck, they're probably going to outlive me. So there's no reason I shouldn't use them, because I do have some old vintage tools in mint condition that I know the person didn't use because they were too valuable, and that's sad because they're no longer around, and I don't really need the tool. We've moved on in performance, but they preserved it when they really should have just tried to use it up. And with that, Doc out.